Hi Virgo, welcome to your May 2022 astrological forecast. So the big news for you is, okay, your ruling planet Mercury, it is in Gemini and is turning retrograde on the 10th, okay? It retrogrades so far back, it goes into Taurus on the 20, got the wrong paper here, 22nd, okay? So, it does affect you and Gemini a little bit more than it does other people. So I'm going to have to tell you to, here's where you have Gemini, excuse me, in your chart is your 10th house of your career. Okay, the sun will move here on the 20th, and there's a new moon here on the 30th, right? But up until that point, Mercury is here. So your 10th house it's your most public house. Okay, it's how people view and speak about you publicly. It's how you're known by reputation, professionally and personally. Okay, but it's more or less like your career, but it's your public life too, your public status. You know, so even if you're retired, you know, there's still some kind of clout that you have or whatever reputation that you have in your own area, your own neighborhood even. So when Mercury turns retrograde here, first of all, if you were interested in another job, okay, if you had already applied for something else and you didn't hear from them, or you did hear from them but the job was already filled or something like that, you could be contacted again by a previous the place where you applied, or even a previous employer, to see if you want to come back to work, whatever. Okay, or even a job that you once did. You know, somebody could contact you from that job to ask you for help in, you know, something that maybe they don't remember how it was done. You know, something or other. Okay, but I really have to say that because Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house, your most public house, right, you should really, really be careful what you say in public at this time, because people are not going to understand it. Even if you meant well, they'll just like screw it all up, more or less, okay? So it's good that when, you know, your 10th house is also like your superiors or your mentors even. So if you're going to be rubbing elbows with them, it's a good idea not to joke around too much. Not everyone's humor is the same. Something like that, or being out somewhere, again, in a public place and just doing or saying something that draws attention to yourself. But maybe it's not good attention, you know. It doesn't all have to be bad. It's just that if you were ever going to be misquoted on anything, this is the time that would happen. So if you're not in public, just like on social media, just watch what you're saying, okay? Let's see here. But the month starts off, though, with the sun in Taurus, in your 9th house, where you have Taurus, okay? The planet Uranus is here up until, for years just yet. But Mercury does retrograde back into Taurus on the 22nd, and on the 28th, Venus moves into Taurus. Okay? So, I mean, you have some other nice things going on at the same time in your 8th house. Okay, 8th and 7th, but we'll get to this first. So, you know, having the sun here, your 9th house of long-distance travel and communications, does kind of mean that this area of your life picks up a lot. If you're not traveling, maybe you're at least in contact with someone who lives far away from you. They could live in another country, but they don't have to. This is a media and publishing house. It's also social media, so you could be involved with people that way, online. I have a lot of friends from different parts of the world, or belong to groups online that are from people all around the world. When Mercury falls back here, though, you know, because Mercury was here in direct motion, right, in Taurus. So if you had something going on at that time, this is also the house of legal matters. Okay, so if you heard about something, were contacted about some kind of legal matter that could even be like a you know, it's something that's doesn't even really pertain to you. It's a class action suit, and you're contacted just to let you know that you can be part of it if you want to be. Something like that, or it could be publishing, you know, as far as even copywriting or trademarking something that you do, something you've created yourself. Um, this is an internet house. Okay, so you could have begun something when Mercury was direct here, like last month, I think. Yeah. So, and maybe you like didn't have time to get back to it for whatever reason. You know, it was stalled a little bit. Okay, it's other things in your life were more important, so you had to take care of them. But now that Mercury is back here, even in retrograde motion, you're back to that area again. Your Mercury retrograde does give you a chance to review something or change your mind, okay? Or find out information that wasn't there, you weren't able to get when Mercury was direct. Mercury retrograde does screw up your communications, right? And travel plans, things like that. But the one thing that it is good for is changing your mind, or finding out something that was pretty important, you know, that you needed to know in order to make a decision on something, but you weren't even told whatever. You know, usually when people communicate with you, especially during a retrograde period, they're not telling you everything because maybe they don't think it's that important, you know, that this piece of information or whatever would be that important to you, and it turns out it was probably the most important thing that you needed to know in order to make like a correct decision, you know, an informed decision. So things like that, you know, yeah, it's could even be like about a class or something. If you were taking a class or even teaching a class, and it just, I don't know, you weren't able to finish it, or for some reason or other it got started and stopped. Well, maybe it's going to get restarted again. Okay, when Venus moves here, it's like kind of too late in the month for it to have too much of an effect, but we'll cover that pretty much like next month. Okay, but Venus does start off the month on the 2nd in Aries, in your 8th house where you have Aries. Okay, Jupiter moves here on the 10th, and Mars moves here on the 24th. So I did do a video on Jupiter and Aries, so you might want to listen to that. There's also a link below to Mercury retrograde, so you might want to listen to that one too. But having Jupiter here in your 8th house of other people's resources and money, you know, brings like an expansion in this area. You know, this is passive money coming to you through means other than earning it. This could be money from a lawsuit, a settlement of some kind, or insurance payout, which brings us back to the 9th house and legal matters. And also, there's a full moon on the 16th in the sign of Scorpio in your 3rd house. It's directly across from your 9th house. And it's a full moon lunar eclipse, so it's a pretty big deal. It's eclipses make the effects of that moon last longer than normally would, right? So you could be, you know, on the receiving end of something that legally you were supposed to have. 8th house is also legacies and inheritances. This could even be about, you know, an inheritance you didn't even know about. Maybe someone was supposed to give it to you, the executor, you know, and the executor turns out to be one of your relatives who, you know, they're like that, right? They just keep everything. Okay, so they didn't do their job and they screwed you out of what was due you. So something like that could be, you know, happening here. Whatever. It's just very nice transit to have Jupiter in 8th house of other people's resources. So if you needed to like borrow something or use something that you know someone has, they would like give you access to it at this time. Usually that's like equipment or something or other. Somebody could even gift you with something that they no longer use, but you could really use. You know what I mean? This is also the house of like any kind of financial institution, like the IRS or banks, credit card companies. A lot of people could like increase your credit line during this time. Having Mars here, finally, like on the 24th, brings an awful lot of energy to this area. Maybe going into, you know, 8th house is also the house of death and rebirth, regeneration. So at times like this, especially with Jupiter here, it kind of like cleanses you in a way, a part of yourself that you wanted to get rid of anyway. So you kind of like start over a little bit when planets are here. You usually like drop a bad habit possibly, or even if it's negative thinking, you know, something like that. Having Venus here though, from the 2nd to the 28th, attracts things to you. So it's going to attract monetary things or anything of value though, actually. And another thing too is if you were having problems with like a financial institution, a credit card company, like I said, or a tax place, whatever, they would be a lot more helpful now. Now that Jupiter's here, you more than likely will get a different person on the phone other than the one you spoke to when you first inquired about it and they didn't want to help you. They just like blew you off. This would be a good time to, you know, redo that, make that phone call again. Or if somebody tells you you're not eligible for something, just, you know, hang up and call a week later at a different time of day on a different day. Maybe you'll get someone else other than that person. Okay, that will like give you all the information you need. People are like that. They're weird, right? Can't even do their job. That's what they're paid to do, but you know, people don't always do their jobs. So anyways though, up until the point that Mars moves into Aries, it is in your 7th house of Pisces. Okay, up till the 24th, and Jupiter is still here up to the 10th. So, and Neptune is of course still transiting in Pisces, and Pisces is your opposite sign. It's on your 7th house of close relationships, partnerships of any kind, but it's like business or romantic or a friend. Okay, when Jupiter is here, this should have expanded this area. Your opportunities to form some kind of an association with someone else, an arrangement or agreement on something, like dealing with business, or it could be romantic. You know, you could have met somebody really nice. A lot of times when Jupiter's here, this denotes like marriage, but it could be a marriage between, for business though too, but you could have actually been like a lot closer or have made a new friend that you're very close with. Okay, so you still have a lot of activity going on here, especially with this Mars, you know. So I've mentioned, you know, many times, if you listen to my videos, okay, when Mars is in your opposite sign, people come at you very aggressively. Okay, so if you are in business with someone else right now, they are, you know, trying to get you to do business their way, or maybe they want to buy you out, or they don't want partnership anymore. They're very pushy, you know, but that's okay, because when Jupiter moves into your 8th house, things will be going your way, right? You could also have this same effect from, like, this is also the house of open enemies, which it means that it's someone that you don't get along with, okay, but everybody knows that you two don't get along. Okay, this is people like this come out of the woodwork to like push your buttons. Okay, it's also the house of competition with Mars being here, so somebody could be trying to take your business away, your customers away, your clients or something like that. Or if you are dating someone, that maybe someone else wants to date them too. You know, things like that. Okay. There's a new moon on the 30th in Gemini in your 10th house. Okay, so this brings a new beginning. I would have to say that, I don't know, you know, because Mars is going to be spending a long period of time here, coming up in a few months. So there could be something that you're doing in regards to your career, okay, that is going to be very important, but it begins now when the sun moves here, like on the 20th. And this new moon is a new beginning. So it's a new beginning in your career or your outer persona, okay, how the public views you and speaks about you. Okay, so the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Virgo on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Pisces, and those dates are the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, any kind of gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 4th, 5th, 6th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. The best time for money is the 12th, 13th, 24th, 25th, and 26th. The best time for your career is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 29th, 30th, and 31st. And the best time for communication and travel is the 1st, 14th, 15th, 16th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. So don't forget to check out my weekly forecasts, and if you're new to my channel and you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload something. So I will see you next week. Goodbye.